So today I want to talk about my 14-year-old son getting his first job and why I'm so excited about this experience for him. So if you have children and they've recently started working or looking for jobs, keep on watching, keep on listening. Hopefully this will be relevant to you. Welcome back to consecutive day 1680 of a diary of a runpreneur. And today's topic is all about children when they get to the age where they're allowed to take on an employed job in terms of being paid for work legally. So before we get onto the topic at hand though, do remember that this is part of a fundraiser to stabilise the children by attempting the ultimate ultra marathon of run vlogging on consecutive days, distance of a lap of the world, barefoot style. Do give this a subscribe, share, like and comment. More people we get in front of, more money we raise and more children's lives we save, which is why I do this every single day. So back to the topic at hand. My eldest son, Leo, he is actually out running with me today. Didn't fancy being in the vlog, he's actually further ahead there in yellow. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. He turns 14 tomorrow. And, trying to get ahead of the game, he expressed an interest in getting some work. And he's been trying to get a paper round, for example. Now, paper rounds, if you're not familiar with them, in the UK, it is when you deliver newspapers on your bike around the local area. And it used to be quite common practice back in my day growing up. But lo and behold, these days, where a lot of people get all of their tabloid information, or the vast majority of it, online via their tablets or smart devices now, the old-fashioned newspaper, which was actual paper, is slowly kind of dying a bit of a death as an industry. Not in terms of the news it provides, but in the kind of communication channels it adopts. Fewer and fewer people are now starting to use newspapers. They're getting all their information on the websites or on tablet format. But anyway, cut a long story short, he was quite disappointed to find out that there are no paper rounds in his village anymore. And then he spoke to me about getting a job, and I have multiple businesses, one of them being a cafe in the village. And one of the, I suppose, few benefits of being a cafe owner, cafe and hospitality trade, very, very difficult industry to turn into an incredibly lucrative one. But one of the benefits of running the cafe is that it's the perfect kind of environment that my 14-year-old son can learn about business and learn about in a really detailed way. So I'm not going to be involved in managing or anything. It'd have to be interviewed by the supervisor, onboarded, legitimately and everything for payroll and all that side of things. But I will teach him more and more about the cafe as he starts to learn about all the different areas of hygiene, food safety, food prep, serving, communicating with people. There are just so many areas within that business that I can allow him to kind of learn about, and it will really develop him as a person. And I'm really excited for him to have that opportunity. And also, he can be paid fairly well for it as well. So, because obviously it's my cafe. And I'm looking forward to it. He's not going to get any preferential treatment by any means, because if truth be told, we're not actively looking for any new kind of recruits at the moment. But I will give him a job in the cafe and pay him through other businesses as such. So he'll be on the books for the group of companies, but his workload will be specifically for the cafe. And as he's still at school, he's only going to be able to work at weekends because the cafe's not open in the evenings. And he plays a lot of football, and I don't want him to not play football because I highly value his exercise and active life. So he's going to do 3 hours a week at the cafe, only on a Saturday because it's not open on a Sunday, and he'll have to work around his football. So in instances when he has an early morning kickoff, he'll play football, work for 3 hours in the afternoon. If he has a late kickoff around lunchtime, then he'll do a split shift. He'll do a couple of hours in the morning and an hour in the afternoon, or an hour in the morning and a couple of hours in the afternoon when he finishes. So it's going to pose logistical challenges for him. He'll bike there and back as well, so he'll have to be responsible enough to get there and there and back on his own accord. and it will just teach him kind of responsibility. And you know what, he will love having access to money. And then I can start my journey of teaching him about money and investments, and about kind of how to get money to work for you rather than you work for it. So it's all kind of part of my master plan of teaching them about money, how entrepreneurship, how investments, how business can give him choices in life. I won't be pushing him down any specific avenue. I just want him to understand, because I feel they're the areas that the education system struggles with. It doesn't teach them enough about entrepreneurship and investments, business ownership. It just teaches them about potentially getting a job for kind of 40, 50 years of their lives, and then hoping they've got enough savings to last their retirement, which I think is an incredibly flawed system, but that's another topic altogether. But yeah, really, really excited. I think the learnings from my diary today are that when your children get to an age where they're starting and able to start legalised employment, get them involved as early as you can, if possible. If you've got the ability to help them find a job, do so. I know that, you know, part of searching for a job is part of the process, but I think what they're going to learn more, but whilst being on the job, is more important than the actual process of finding a job. I'd rather him start early rather than, you know, take his time to try and find a job himself, and actually realise that it's really hard, put him off. He's not that excited about finding work. I think I've just given him a little bit of a boost into learning about the working environment. So, and the fact that I've got a cafe, hospitality is a really great place for children to learn about work, because it's also a kind of an area where they'll be communicating with customers, and learning how to communicate professionally is really, really important. Communication is such an important skill, and if you put them in a job that's, because the reality is 14-year-old children are going to be, most jobs they're going to be doing are going to be pretty menial or low level, and they won't necessarily learn, you know, a wide range of skills that they can learn in a trade like hospitality. So he's really lucky to get the opportunity. He's really lucky to have me kind of pushing him down this route, but I'm really, really excited to see what he learns, how he grows, how he develops, how he builds his relationship with money, because his relationship with money at the moment is pretty appalling. He gets money at Christmas and his birthdays. He'll do the odd job for me. He might get a little bit of money for, and he spends it almost instantaneously on stuff that is an absolute waste of money, in my opinion. He might enjoy it, but I think this whole process, I'm going to start teaching him about how tax works, and certain pay slips I'm going to hold money back from him, to realise what in the real world, you know, you don't get all your money, you get taxed on it. And him to understand how tax works and that side of things is only going to be a great asset for him. I've got lots of ideas for him as he kind of gets older, but I'm really, really excited to start this journey with him. So yeah, in summary, my advice to anybody who has children that turn 14 and they're legally allowed to start work in some capacity, get them involved as quickly as possible. Help them if you can, because the sooner you can get them into work, the sooner they're going to learn so much about how the real world works, how money works, and you know, most importantly, that it's not that they start understanding how life works, and they're going to start building life skills at an early age. The sooner they can learn these skills, the more ahead of the game they can get, the more educated, financially literate they're going to become, to enable them to make better choices in the future. So that's it from me. Any questions or comments, drop me a line. I'll respond to everyone. Do remember though, if you believe in my mission of saving the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultramarathon of run vlogging on consecutive days, distance of a lap of the world, barefoot style, do give this a subscribe, share, like and comment. More people we get in front of, more money we raise, more children's lives we save, which is why I do this every single day. Thank you as always. Stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you again tomorrow.